Welcome to another OCP Solution Provider Spotlight, where we focus on our members who are providing OCP solutions to the market. And this week, we are really excited to be speaking with Joe Knepp, who is the co-founder and CTO of Jtec Industries. And Jtec Industries is based out of Illinois and a leader in the autonomous cart and materials handling industry. They've done some really unique things over the last year, working with our hyperscale members in providing autonomous carts to move OCP racks around the data center. And this is going to be a bigger focus in OCP moving forward as we've developed a new work stream around data center automation. And Jtec will be leading in their solutions and their thought leadership in this particular area. So I hope you enjoy this week's OCP Solution Provider Spotlight with Joe Knepp, the co-founder and CTO of Jtec Industries. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you joining me.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
So tell us, how did a company like Jtec find itself in an open source hardware and data center community?
Well, in 2019, we started working with Meta on a server rack cart to move server racks in their facility, specifically the ORV2 rack starting off with. But after working with them for a couple of years, we were just looking at some of their locations on the website and came across the OCP group and wondered what that was and started digging in, and one thing led to another, and that's how we got involved.
That's really great, Joe, because we don't have too many companies that are in the data center automation space yet within OCP, and you're at the forefront of a new work stream that we've created within the community to handle data center automation. So as we tell us a bit about Jtec, the background, and what does JTEC actually stand for?
Okay. Jtec is a name that my business partner and I came up with, my co-founder, John Peterson, and his first name's John and my first name's Jay. And so that's where the J comes from. And we were trying to think of something we could have for an additional portion to that name. And we came up with the tech, and the tech stood for technology, experience, and commitment. So it was an acronym. And that's where the name kind of came from. And we started in the industry making returnable, reusable, custom shipping containers, and did that for several years and had a project come across our plate where we needed to develop material handling cart system for moving material inside industrial facilities. So that's where we kind of came from. That's the roots of the company.
Interesting. So now that you've moved a bit into the data center market, what is your initial view of the industry itself and some of the challenges that may be different than the other industries that you've worked in the past?
Yeah, the data center industry is new to us and very unique, coming from the industrial space. So a lot of unique challenges. The product is large, heavy. It doesn't roll very well, so there's a lot of challenges in moving it. It has a high center of gravity. For us, it's a really good fit for our product line that we currently were manufacturing, but just some unique challenges from a product standpoint of actually moving the data server racks.
And what specific solutions, for those that may have not seen your specific OCP solution, describe it for people?
So the first product we released is we called it dual bay server rack cart. So it is teamed up with an autonomous tugger. So autonomous tugger is a vehicle that pulls the cart around the facility with no driver. It's trained on a route, and it drives from point to point, and it pulls our trailer. And our trailer holds two server racks, two of the ORV2 and ORV3 server racks. It can handle either one. And you push the server racks into the cart, and then push a button to lift them up off the ground. So it transports them with them off the ground. So that makes it easier to move them around. And when it gets to the location in the data hall, they push the button, and it lowers them, and then you can pull them out and install them.
So as you look at this industry and the way that data centers are designed, and Meta's at the forefront of the way that they've designed their data centers, does the data center design lend itself to data center automation in the way that you can see additional solutions being developed?
Yeah, so there's some real challenges with the current designs in the data centers, specifically some very tight areas to turn and get the AMR tugger with the cart through doorways. The doorways that we're going through are not what we're used to seeing in the industrial space with great big overhead doors. They're much tighter, so it requires much tighter turning tolerances to be able to run product through the data halls.
I can imagine, and I'm sure you've sat down with Meta many times to understand the cost benefit of automation. As you look at the data center industry, is your solution something that people can take advantage of if they're not running at the scale of, say, a hyperscaler? Can people take advantage if they're running at a smaller co-location, or maybe don't have quite the size of deployments?
Yeah, certainly can, and it may be slight variant of the current product that we're using with Meta, especially again depending on the requirements for the turning and the tight areas. But it really comes down to how far are you moving the server racks. So the further you're moving, the more the autonomous solution makes sense. But I can tell you, going into it, it was a real eye-opener just how challenging it was to move those server racks with the small wheels on them. It can be quite challenging to move those things around, even just the loading piece of it. So you won't need to go very far to see a big benefit from an economic standpoint on moving them with automation.
I can imagine. That's good. So how long does it take to train somebody on the use of these carts?
On the use of the carts, the training would be about a half hour, right? I mean, for the actual operator training, we also have maintenance training and that type of stuff too. So when we come into a facility and deploy them, there's basically a one-day training that goes on to do all the different operator and maintenance training that goes along with it.
Well, we talked a bit about your view on the market, some of the challenges, and as your team attended the OCP Global Summit in October, and you were able to see the size and the scope of the community up close. What were some of the impressions that your team gained from having attended the Global Summit?
Well, it was a real eye opener for us based on just the size of the show and all the people that were there. A lot of focuses on the different areas that didn't include obviously the automation and the material handling, but just a lot of very involved, committed people trying to make this work. I mean, standardization makes all kinds of sense for all kinds of reasons, but certainly in the material handling industry, it really helps the economics out. So it's great to see a group like this getting everybody together, trying to get on the same page.
And I think it's going to be companies like Jtec and your team, Joe, that help lead this data center automation and driving those standardizations or those industry norms across our data center ecosystem. So what do you have planned as far as portfolio expansions that may fit in under the OCP umbrella?
So I described the dual bay cart that we currently manufacture. It has some pretty unique technology on it to allow it to navigate again through kind of the tight areas in the data halls. We're finding with discussions with other people that not everywhere that the ORV2 and ORV3 racks are used are necessarily inside data halls and in tight areas. There's other parts of the supply chain where people are putting things together and manufacturing. So there's going to be other uses, other variants of the current cart that we have, where we actually are working with a group on a cart that'll haul 4 at a time. And it's got a mechanical steering system, which is more traditional in our product lines. not the steer-by-wire that we had to come up with for the meta team to get in the tight areas. So I would say just more variations of the carts that we currently are working on.
That's good. I'm looking forward to seeing what new solutions your team can come up with. 4 at a time would certainly help drive some efficiencies in the infrastructure area. So Joe, our appreciation to you and the entire Jtec team. It's great to have your type of company join the community and share your expertise. You're a new community member, a new solution provider with a solution on the OCP marketplace. And again, our appreciation for everything that your team has done. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you. Appreciate you having us on.